Next time somebody asks you, do you feel guilty for taking a week off from parenting? Just say, I'm sure I'm gonna cry with the Lamborghini my son buys me from the extra $62,000 a year he's gonna make because he's resilient and because he has self-regulating skills. Hi, my name is Shansei, and welcome to Selfish Parenting, the podcast that gives you permission to be, well, a little selfish while raising incredible children. This is where we are going to flip everything you've been told about parenting upside down. Have a seat, relax, and enjoy the show, y'all. Well. How exactly did we get here? You guys, it's happening. We're doing this. Hello. Who's as excited as I am? Yeah, exactly. We're all excited. I can't believe we're finally here, you guys. I have been thinking about launching Selfish Parenting for a very long time. And if you're wondering why Selfish Parenting, well, those are the comments I get when I say I'm a mom of four that also has a nanny. I want to spend an entire week away from my children because I want to. Those are the comments that I get when I say I want a housekeeper, even though I also know how to clean. Those are the comments that I get when I say I want to go on a date night every other week. That is where Selfish Parenting came from. I am going to take every single insult or what you thought was an insult and you threw at me and turn it into cold, hard facts. This name came from the fact that for a long time, I've been told prioritizing myself is selfish. Well, okay then, selfish I am. Call me a selfish parent. I will wear it like that entire armor that it is. Because what you say is selfish, I say it's actually just me being an incredible parent. Let's talk about me, because why not? Who doesn't want to talk about Shansei? Come on, you know you do too. But you know what? I will say my journey to becoming this selfish parent, if I may, it's actually a very interesting one. The year is 2020. I am a new mom to a 5-month-old. I think we all remember the video. I'm sorry, what? You guys all remember me finding out I'm having identical twin girls with a 5-month-old baby. What you don't know is at the time, I was struggling with the idea of being a mom. I left my career that I enjoyed. I actually left a career where I finally felt like I'm making big money. You know what I mean? I've been in DC for like 5 years by now. I'm finally at the point where I'm making quote unquote big money. But I got pregnant, right? I got married. The plan was to wait a little longer, but I got a little excited. Things happen. I'm not judging. I'm not blaming anyone. And well, one thing led to another. I got pregnant with my oldest. Now, prior to getting pregnant, my husband and I had discussed this, and the goal was me becoming a stay-at-home mom. He knew that he had to work really hard to make sure that that is something that I can choose. And he knew that it's something I've always wanted. When I say always wanted, I never really thought about marriage, thought about kids until I met my husband. I always told my mom, in order for me to get married, in order for me to have children, I will have to meet an exceptional man. And it happened to be that I met this very exceptional man and I decided to have kids with him. I always say there isn't a selfless reason to have kids. I think every reason you choose to have kids is selfish. And my selfish reason was the fact that I love my husband. We have so much love to give, and we want to spread that love to little humans that, look like us. We want the opportunity to raise 2 little humans, 4 or 5, however many we wanted at a time. Now, what we've discussed already was the fact that I'm going to be a stay-at-home mom because I never saw anything else. I grew up in Congo. Moms have kids and then they stay at home. That's all I ever knew. So my thoughts behind being a stay-at-home mom didn't come from my own experience, didn't come from research. It came from me just saying, well, what else am I supposed to do after I have kids? When I quit my job to become a stay-at-home mom, I hated it. I absolutely hated it. When I tell you guys, I hated going from having people to talk to every single day in the office, going to lunch with my friends in the office, getting nicely dressed in a little suit. I even had an office on the top floor. I hated it. I felt very important at work. I'm going to be honest. I felt that and I enjoyed it. So going from that to a bubbling baby who literally just sits on my boob 24/7, it was like a culture shock. No one actually warned me what it looks like. So that is all going on. My husband is working quite a bit because obviously, right, he's taking care of a new baby and now I'm home. And I remember just thinking, this ain't it for me. I don't love it. So I go and I tell my husband right before we found out about the twins, mind you, I say, babe, I want to go back to work. And he's like, you want to go back to work? I'm like, I want to go back to work. I'm not loving this, okay? I don't like the mommy groups. They don't like me. I don't like them. I don't like bubbling to a 5-month old. He was cute, y'all. He was real cute, but he couldn't talk, okay? I traveled around with my mom. I wasn't loving it. And my husband, being the incredible man that he is, he goes, whatever you want, I'm here to make you happen. So we decided, because I had gotten an offer to a new job. He didn't even know I was applying. Don't lie to your man. But he didn't even know. But, I got this amazing offer and I was like, I want to take it. And he was like, let's figure it out. So I go to the doctors because I'm not feeling well, hence why, I'm sorry, what, right? I went to get birth control. I ended up with identical twins. Now, not only do I have a 5-month-old, I now have a 5-month-old with a future of 3 under 2. Hello? Absolutely not. So I'm freaking out. Everything is going on. I'm still not liking motherhood. In fact, I'm not understanding motherhood. In fact, I'm sitting here like, this is a scam. I am scammed because this is not what I saw. I grew up in Congo. What I saw was my mom wake up every single morning, dressed to the nines, floating down the staircase. My mom didn't wake me up. We had nannies. Hello? We had cooks. Hello? We had so many people taking care of things around our house, which is why my mom could float down the stairs in the morning, dressed to the nines, give me a kiss, send me off to school. I knew that that's the motherhood I wanted. Now, listen, I know I'm no longer in Africa. I know that we live in America and it's a different setup, right? But what I do know is what I want. And what I want is I don't want to lose myself just to be a mom. I remember sitting my husband down and saying, hey, so I want to be a stay-at-home mom, but I don't want to be a stay-at-home maid. I don't want to be a stay-at-home cook. I don't want to be a stay-at-home therapist. I don't want to be a stay-at-home teacher. I need some type of balance. And what I didn't like about being a stay-at-home mom the first time is I didn't have the balance. When I finally realized that it's not that I don't like being a stay-at-home mom, it's that I'm not a stay-at-home mom. I'm a stay-at-home every goddamn thing. Cut it out. And that's how we cut it out. I remember so clearly that my husband and I sitting together and budgeting and figuring out, okay, so what can we outsource? Where do we start? Where do we start? What works for our family? What are you comfortable with? And the first thing that had to go was them kids. Them kids had to go. At least a couple hours out the day, them kids had to go. At this point, I have the twins. I'm back to being a stay-at-home mom because I decided I've enjoyed work enough. I literally went back to work while I was pregnant and in the first year of the twins' life because COVID hit and I was working from home. It ended up working out really great. But then after that promotion, after that position, I was like, this was fun. Bye-bye. And I left. Okay, I was done with the career thing. I was like, I've done it. I've been the butcher. I've been that little song. I've done it all. I'm done with it. So now I'm back to being a stay-at-home mom. But this time, I know something y'all don't. I know why the first round didn't work out. It's because I was being everything to everyone and nothing to myself. And that is where I decided, I think I need to back my feelings. Because on social media, all I saw was the women who will hold up their little sign and they're like, it's okay to suffer. It's okay to suffer because motherhood is an endless job. Yeah, it's a no for me. It's a no for me. I don't want it. That's not the motherhood I want. So I decided, you know what? I'm going to be the person who changes and switch the self-neglect that is almost tied to motherhood because that's not what I want. I want to enjoy this. I want to enjoy motherhood. And I remember the first thing we did was honestly hire a nanny. We tried daycare. It didn't work out for us. Nanny was the best option for our family. And at first, we started with really like a 4-hour window. When I tell you it changed my life, I went from not being able to have too much time to myself unless my husband is home to literally walking out my house without a kid in hand and going to Walmart, going to Target, going to Starbucks, whatever. We don't even go there anymore. But you know what I'm saying. Back in the day, I just needed a couple of minutes. I went on walks. My life changed. The way I felt changed. The way I looked changed. The way my husband saw me change. He would come home and be like, oh, damn, you in good spirits? Of course I am. I took a nap. Things changed drastically for me. And that was my journey to beginning to enjoy motherhood. Because 5 years now, it's been 5 years, I love it here. I love being a mom. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And I'm telling you, it's because I decided to be a selfish parent. Now, this didn't come from anywhere. I like when we have this conversation because I'm often told, well, what about taking care of your kids? Well, what about, I'm here to give you real data that actually backs me up. Data that shows that me being just a little selfish actually benefits my kids, not just now, but their future. Because I'm a little selfish right now, I'm gonna raise smarter kids. I'm gonna raise more emotionally intelligent kids. They're gonna make more money? Come on, come on. But let's get into the study. Now, I want to reiterate this is not just my opinion, this is cold, hard, actual facts. I'm going to be referencing a study done out of Ohio State University by Demetrius Nicholas. So the study is called Happy Mothers, Successful Children, the effects of maternal life satisfaction on child outcome. The study was conducted by Demetrius Nicholas at the Ohio State University. I'm going to link that study for you guys to read for yourself, and I'm just going to summarize it a little bit and tell you what makes this study so powerful. The study was done with 14,000 children in the UK over multiple years. These were not just surveys, they were multiple rigorous years of data collecting. Essentially, the researchers are trying to figure out, does maternal happiness, and we're not just talking about getting to the trenches, having a good day, true maternal satisfaction, happiness directly affect the lives of children? And more importantly, does it affect the lives of children separate from other things like income or marital status? I mean, we already know that marriage and income affect the status of the kids or affect how the kids grow up. What we really want to know is, does the happiness of the mom specifically affect the children, and how does it affect them? How does it affect them now, later, in the past, in the future? Let's really dig into it, and that's what this study does. So to answer this, Nicholas tracked self-reported happiness from moms. So he will ask them from on a level of 1 to 10, how happy are you with your life, et cetera, et cetera. And then he tracked their children's development over the years, and not just like small development. I'm talking cognitively, non-cognitive skills, their school, their behavior, emotion regulation, self-regulations, and all the things combined. And the brilliant part about this study is it's controlled for everyone involved. We're talking about income, marital status, developmentally, neighborhood, and all the things to make it as fair as possible, to make sure that it's consistent all across so it doesn't affect the results. So here is what the study found over the year. Maternal happiness directly affects the lives of children in significant ways. It affects their cognitive skills, it affects their emotional skills, and when moms prioritize their happiness, well, things begin to happen. The study found that when moms do things like invest in themselves, fulfill their own happiness, prioritize their own skills, prioritizing having a life outside of parenting, their children develop better social skills. Not only that, they also develop better emotional regulation skills. They also develop, and this is an important one, better self-control. The researcher was able to calculate income equivalent. So basically, he said, how much money would I have to give a family in order to see the same improvement I see from a child coming from a happy mom home? So how much money would I have to give this family for your child to be as well off as a child who's coming from a home with a happy mom? And the numbers are shocking. So get this, a 10% increase in maternal happiness predicts a social skill improvement equivalent to $62,000 annual income increase. Hello? Me being selfish raises rich kids? Yeah, absolutely. We're talking about, okay, the self-regulating skills improve by amount equivalent to an income increase of $38,000 a year. Come on, numbers, okay? The emotional symptom decrease with maternal happiness equivalent to $24,000 a year of an income increase. So what we're saying here, when you prioritize yourself, you're not taking away from your kids. Instead, you are giving them something money cannot even buy. You are actually improving their life significantly, not only now, but later in the future. You're giving them better emotion regulation skills, better social skills, and most importantly, you're giving them greater resilience. The science says being selfish, prioritizing your happiness, makes you a better parent. And let me tell you something. Next time somebody calls you selfish, or next time somebody asks you, well, don't you have mom guilt because you are prioritizing yourself? Just look at them and say, well, science says I'm actually giving myself and my kids a better future. Science says I'm actually raising really rich kids by going on a little momcation. Next time somebody asks you, do you feel guilty for taking a week off from parenting? Just say, I'm sure I'm going to cry with the Lamborghini my son buys me from the extra $62,000 a year he's going to make because he's resilient and because he has self-regulating skills. Now that we've established prioritizing yourself actually makes you a better parent, let me give you the framework that I put together. We're going to call it the 4 pillars of selfish parenting. Now, I want to be clear, this works for all family structures, whether you're married, single, co-parenting, whatever your situation is, divorce, these 4 pillars work for all of us. Pillar number 1 is adult relationship and support system. Now, if you're married, this is obvious. Your adult relationship and your support system is going to be your husband. Now, this is going to be a little hard to hear, but this does mean that you and your spouse's relationship comes first. Listen, I know it's a little controversial, but hear me out. Your kids are not you. Your kids are not the ones you're leaving for. Your kids are going to come and they're going to go. Your spouse is supposed to be the person that you're doing this with, not the other way around. So when it comes to prioritizing your marriage, you're actually creating a stable foundation that is going to make your kids feel more secure, not less. Now, if you're a single parent, the pillar is just as important to you. It just looks a little bit different. Maybe that looks like you prioritizing the friends that feed onto you, the friends that fill your cup up. Maybe this means prioritizing those relationships outside of your kids. And also so that your kids see an example of what a good relationship looks like with your friendships. This looks like prioritizing those friendships with your system, your village, or whatever that looks like for you. At the end of the day, your friendships, your family, your community, your connection, these relationships are what are going to not only sustain you, but they're going to give you and your kid that sustainability, that community, and that connection. If you're co-parenting, listen, this is not my lane. I'm not a co-parent, but what I will say is these pillars work for you as well because that co-parenting relationship is just as important and your kids need to see you guys working together as well. The bottom line is you model that relationship you want your kids to have in the future. And if you're not doing that, well, let's just say you're already doing your kids a disservice. Whatever your relationship look like, these healthy adult dynamics are just as important as your relationship is with your kids. Now, pillar number 2 is self-preservation. This is a really big one. It was especially a big one for me. Self-preservation is where we as parents take ourselves outside of parenting. I like to call myself Shansay the wife, Shansay the mom, and Shansay the girly. Okay? This is where we separate all of those titles that are put upon us and focus on ourselves. You exist outside of motherhood. You exist outside of fatherhood. You were here before you were a mom, and you're going to be here after your kids have gone off and started their own life. So there have to be a you there. I like to think about this in a very simple way. For me, it reminds me of when my husband and I met, right? When my husband and I met, he fell in love with so many things about me, so many things I did. He used to say, I love that you run so much. I love that you dance. I love that you do this, right? Those are all things that make Shansay Shansay. After having kids, I would like for Shansay to still be there. I would like for the things that I loved about me before becoming a mom to still maintain those same feeling, the same warm, fuzzy feeling I felt when I went on a run. I don't want that to go away. You cannot just be mom and dad every single hour of the day. You have to step away from that. So when you maintain your identity outside of parenting, right? When you continue to do the hobbies you love, when you continue to take care of yourself, when you continue to pursue your passion, pursue your career, you are doing 2 very critical things. You are preventing the resentment and depression that come from losing yourself in motherhood or in fatherhood. And as many of you know, most divorces happen after the kids go off to college because you did not have an opportunity to foster those relationships while the kids were there. And let's just think about it this way. If I spent 89, 90% of my time being a mom and nothing being me, what happens when being a mom cannot take up 100% of my time? What now? What's next? Because we're not raising our kids to stay with us forever. We're raising them to be contributing members of society, to go off and live their own lives. What life are you living right now for you outside of your kids? And second, and one of my favorite reasons is you're showing your children that adults can have multiple interests at the same time. And you're giving your children something to aspire to. Me personally, I am not only just a mom to 4, I am a mom to daughters. I often ask myself, what do my daughters see when they look at me? And what will they see in the future? Because I can answer that question and be proud of the women they get to see. My daughters see me live out my dreams. My daughters see me prioritize myself. My sons see me not only prioritize myself, but they see me outside of being the person in the kitchen cooking for them 24/7. My daughters see that I can be their mom, a present, a fun, a loving mom. And they also see that I can go out to brunch with my friends, go on and, start a podcast, show up on social media, have a job outside of this. They get to see me be a multifaceted woman. And what's most important to me more than anything else is the fact that I am showing our kids, moms are not just here to be your mom. Nothing makes me happier than when I come home from my run and my son is like, Mommy, you went out on a run. How was your run? They can show interest in me because there's something to be interested in. I don't want to hear, Mommy, how were the dishes? Girl, you know what I'm saying? You need more, and they deserve to see you have more. Now, pillar number 3, and my personal favorite, strategic outsourcing. This is where we throw everything you've been told about being a good parent. I remember one time waking up and somebody telling me, I'm so tired. I've been cleaning all day. I've been cooking all day. But that's parenting. False. Baby, that's being a maid. We are going to strategically outsource in order to give us time to be better parent. Because here's the truth. If I spent 3 hours playing soccer with my son versus 3 hours cleaning, what do you think? Which one do you think has more effect on my child? Good parenting doesn't necessarily mean doing everything in your house. It's time to outsource. We are going to throw away the idea that outsourcing means you're lazy. You're not lazy. It's called multitasking. It's called literally parenting. If I outsource cleaning my house, I get an opportunity to spend more time with my kids. Think about how you are when you're tired with your kids versus how you are when you've had a little bit of rest. Adults deserve support. Adults deserve support. We talk about a village, but everybody knows the village is no longer free. I think you can quote me on this because I say it a little too much. Everybody deserves a village. Everybody wants a village, but a village is not free. If you want a village, you're going to have to pay for the village. You are going to start outsourcing. And we're not just going to outsource, we're going to be very strategic about it. We're going to make sure that we are outsourcing within our budget. We're finding things to give us more time back. If I can take back 4 hours into my day as a parent to, take a nap, or to go to soccer games or to play soccer outside with my kid, I'm going to take it. Clearly, because listen, Isakel just started playing soccer. I am in my soccer mom era very heavily. I'm loving it. I'm a soccer mom, clearly. This is how I'm showing up to soccer. Every single time. I've heard a lot of moms say they don't want their kids, seeing them outsourcing and not doing things themselves. But here is what you're teaching your kids when they see you outsource. Of course, they learn that adults deserve help. They also learn that asking for help is not weak, it's actually smart. They also learn the power of community. But not only that, they learn the power of delegating. They learn the power of not only putting their time into the things that sometimes bring them the most joy, but also they're going to get the best bang for their buck out of putting their time into certain things. And most importantly to me, they're now going to learn that one person, usually the woman, is supposed to sacrifice everything to be everything for everyone else. And you guys know that this does not have to be expensive. Maybe you hire a little family cleaning. Maybe you hire a little outsourcing. We're going to talk about budget-friendly ways to do this in a little bit because I got you guys. And pillar number 4, boundary enforcing. This was a hard one for me to do as an African parent growing up in Congo, and especially because of just how I was very afraid of becoming a parent who didn't give us a voice as kids, who it was like as a child you're to be seen and not heard. It was really hard for me to not only embrace this one, but live in my truth. And this is where we completely flip the script in traditional parenting. Your needs matter, and your children deserve to see you respected, and they have to respect your boundaries just like you respect theirs. And here is how it looks like in practice. You can say no to your kids. You can say no to playing with your kids if you don't want to. Yes, I know this is a hard one. It was a hard one for me, but your kids need to see you set strong boundaries. And I'm not talking about ignoring your kids, but I mean, sometimes I don't want to play Legos, okay? I don't want to. And this also looks like shutting your door, locking your bedroom, not going to bed in the same bed as your kids. Me personally, co-sleeping is not for me. I want time with my man. I don't know about you, but I'm not doing it. My kids need to see there are strong boundaries in place that actually makes me a better parent. I need my sleep. I need my time. My kids need to respect that there is quiet time. There is time where you cannot mommy me to death. There is time where mommy is unavailable. Mommy is actually going to step away and take a nap. You cannot wake her up. My kids need to see this and they need to respect these boundaries. Saying no to your kid doesn't make you a bad parent. It, in fact, makes you a great parent. The power of no is one of my favorites. In our house, we have these things where somebody can only say no one time. One of my favorite examples to give is my 3-year-old. Well, he was 3 at the time, Isakel. He would come to me and I would be like, Isakel, can you, get me something? And he'd be like, no. No. As an African parent, you guys, we couldn't say no to our parents. We could not say no. We could not say no. He says no to me because I say no to him quite often, if I may. Another thing you guys see often is my boys make me coffee multiple times in the morning. Sometimes they wake up before us and they make me coffee. I can ask and be like, Isakel, can you make me coffee? And he'd be like, no, thanks, not right now. Oh, that's a hard one. My heart is going pit apart. What do you mean no? When I tell you guys, I sometimes sit and look at them and I'm shocked that they can say no to me, but they don't have to say it twice. I don't have to say it twice. Multiple times, my kid will come to me and be like, Mommy, can you hang out with me? And I'd be like, no, thanks, not right now. And he'll walk right off. He'd be like, cool, maybe next time. He doesn't take it as me not wanting to play with me, me not loving him. No, he just knows no is no. My daughter is my favorite person when it comes to no's because she's the queen of no. Afia girl doesn't even say it. That girl don't even say it. I'd be like, Afia, can you? Heard, understood, I'm with you. Say less. Who am I to force you to do something you don't want to do? The power of no is one that I'm so proud I'm able to teach our kids, and they're able to respect coming from me as well. Literally, I've only had these kids for like 6 years. They just got here. And I'm already seeing, I don't know, the effect of the power of no. These boundaries are now being enforced both ways, and I'm seeing how the mutual respect is already building. So on this podcast, every week, we're going to do a challenge that goes with the podcast. This week's episode, I figure we might as well do an outsourcing challenge. Now, hear me out. Everybody thinks outsourcing is so expensive. I've been outsourcing in every different type of stage in our life. Outsourcing is something that I've always done. And I've gotten so good at being budget friendly when it comes to outsourcing. It is not as expensive as you think. I'm going to give you 6 simple things that you can outsource that are literally under $100 depending on your family size. And also on this challenge, I want you to pick 3. I need you to pick 3. If you can, if not, start with 1. Number 1, grocery shopping. Listen, it takes me about 3 hours to grocery shop. And remember, the goal of this challenge is to not only give ourselves time back, but give ourselves time back that we can use prioritizing ourselves, enjoying our kids, or just taking a nap, y'all. Can y'all tell I like to sleep? Because how many times have I talked about a nap? You know what? While you're listening to this podcast, every time you hear me say nap, take a shot. A shot at whatever you're drinking. Nap. No, okay, fine. Let's really get back into it. Let me be serious for a minute. All right. No, seriously. Okay. Now that you've taken your shots, let's get back to outsourcing. Okay, grocery shopping. It takes me about 3 hours. And I don't know where y'all be going, but I get in these stores and all of a sudden it's been 3 hours of me running around Aldi and don't even talk about Costco. Costco, if I see you, it's on site because it takes me 6 hours in a Costco, right? If you were to take, I don't know, $10, my Instacart, Uber, Walmart Plus, Instacart, all those deliveries, I think the fee is like $10. For $10 more, you can sit in your house while somebody brings the groceries in front of your door. Hello? For $10? Precisely. And let me know once you've done this because I want to see what you did with those 3 extra hours. And obviously, since you just took so many shots, you probably need a nap. It makes sense. Exactly. Next, my absolute cannot live without house cleaning. When I tell you guys, house cleaning has changed my life. You don't have to have somebody come clean your house every single day. You can actually have someone come once a week, twice a week, once every other week to deep clean your house, and it will give you back up to 6 hours. Now, I use a lot of different services, depending on where you live at. If you don't want to commit to like an agency for cleaning services, go to TaskRabbit. Hello? You can hire someone off of TaskRabbit. They be charging like $30 an hour, sometimes 40, depending. You can have your house cleaned for under $100, or you can have it cleaned for a flat rate of like 100, 80, 50. You guys, there's so many services that offer really cheap house cleaning, and you don't have to scrub them toilet. When I tell you the relief of coming to a clean home that you ain't had to clean, I'm not even mad when I hear a toy dump, because you know what? I wasn't the one that put him away. I'm just telling you, try that one for me. And of course, another pain point in everyone's house, if somebody was to come here and say, Shanse, do you want $1 million or do you want to never do laundry again? What do you think I'm going to pick? Okay, I'm not crazy, $1 million, but I will pick laundry too if it wasn't $1 million. That's a lot of money. You know, I'm just a girl. I like bags. Neither here nor there. Laundry service is one that I think every single one of us need. Laundry service is a must. Hello, laundry is endless. Me and laundry have been fighting since before I had kids. When I was just washing my clothes. Imagine having four kids. Every time I say I have 4 kids, I think of that Kevin Hart. Damn. And you know, I'm not blaming anybody. 4 kids, damn. Yeah, no, but seriously, laundry for more than 4 kids is insane. It's insane. Laundry services are one of the easiest way to give yourself time back because, girl, they wash, they fold, and they bring it folded to your door. You can even give them hangers to hang everything up for you. I like Poplin, the app, and I think for our house, a family of 6, we spend no more than $120 every time we send off a laundry load. Come on! And if you're less, you can do 50. I think sometimes it could be, I'm trying to think, $25 to $40 for a very small family. Again, we have a lot of kids, a lot of clothes, and my boys think they are supermodels. They change outfits for a living. It's a lot, okay? It's a lot. But that's really something that I feel like you can easily do to make your life a little bit easier. Next, childcare services. This is also something I cannot live without. People think it's really expensive because it is. However, let's start small. My favorite thing to suggest is someone interview a part-time sitter. I have a very vigorous way of how I interview nannies, and maybe that's something we can talk about in a future episode. Once you find a sitter that you trust with your children, bring her on for 2 hours. 2 hours. Let's say you have 2 kids and you're paying, I don't know, $25 an hour, $30 an hour. For $30, you can step outside, go for a walk, have a little coffee, have a little drinky drink, get dressed, go to brunch with your friends while somebody watches the kids. Or, and hear me out, take a nap while somebody watches your kids. You mean to tell me that $60 is not worth it? Childcare. Start small before you go and invest into a full-time nanny. You don't need a full-time nanny. You need a couple hours to yourself. We're trying to get a few hours back to ourselves. Now, of course, you can try care.com. My personal favorite is actually Urban Sitter. I really like them. I've gotten a few people off of Urban Sitters when I don't want to commit to a full-time nanny at the time. Try those sites out. Do your work. Go to Facebook groups. Facebook groups are fantastic where you can actually look at other moms who have used someone. Talk to your neighbors, ring camera, be having people talk to their neighbors on there, ask for suggestions from other parents at your kid's school. Some people actually do like a share type thing where you and other parents switch off for free. I watch your kids, you watch my kids. If you have friends that you trust, suggest this option because it's a really good one if you don't have the funds for childcare at the moment. And let me know. Your kids get a little play date and you get a little nap. You know what I'm saying? Come on, shot. I'm kidding. Stop it, guys. Stop it. All right. Next. This one is simply for the dads. Just kidding. It's for everyone. Another one that people don't talk about often is outsourcing yard work. I don't know about y'all. We not cutting grass. Now listen, yes, people say that's a man's job. I don't believe in labor laws. I'm just kidding. I love labor laws. But truly, I am an equal opportunity type of girl. I think chores are equally spread throughout our whole house. And yard work is not something that none of us want to do. He don't want to do it. I ain't got to do it. You know what I'm saying? Hire somebody to do it. $50 for the little kid around the corner who wants to make some money this summer. Okay, he wants to buy a PS, whatever the heck these kids are doing nowadays. $50 can save you a long time of cutting grass or whatever else. You know what I mean? Somebody can come in, wash your trash can for like $50. These are all little things that take up a lot of your time, a lot of space in your brain that you don't even have to do. Next, and this is one of my favorite, administrative tasks. Listen, okay? Virtual assistants will save your life. You don't even have to be a parent for this one. Get someone to help you with the little things. And if you're wondering, like, oh, what do they do? Girl, they do everything. Some of them do scheduling bills, paying bills if you don't want to do it. They schedule your appointment, doctor's appointments. They can help you with quite a bit if that takes up a lot of your tasks. And they're $15 to $20 an hour. Somebody can come in, organize your whole calendar for the month. Hello, for $15? I mean, pay them well, but you know what I mean? These are all very simple things depending on where you are and what your pain points are right now that you can use today and actually make your life a little bit easier. If I may, give you a chance to take a nap. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. Let me know which challenge you did and let me know how it changed your life. Duh, because I'm here to change your life. Exactly. I'm excited to hear about it. Now, you guys know it wouldn't be Shanse if I didn't get a little messy. Just kidding. Listen, on this podcast, we're going to have what is called a hot take. This is where I need you guys' help. I want you guys to send me a hot take that you want me to give you, my opinion on. Hello? And I'm going to have the email information for where to send your hot takes or your stories. Like, listen, this could be anything, right? It could be a hot take. It could be a story you want my opinion on. It could be something you're going through you want my opinion on and you want to hear my hot take on that topic. Ooh, I'm excited. I'm excited to hear from you guys. I'm excited for all the different tea we're going to get into on the hot take segment. However, for today, our hot take is as followed. Are you ready? And I would say don't bite me, but go ahead, you can try. But the hot take is your children are not your purpose. Listen, Kendra, calm down. Relax. Take a breath with me. Say it again. Your children are not your purpose. This might be hard to hear. I know it's hard to hear. That's why I gave you a warning and I said hot take. Let's just get uncomfortable a little bit. Your children's cannot be your life purpose. You cannot live for just your kids. You cannot live to be a mom or a dad. You can't. I know we like to say my kids are my whole world. Where's everyone else going to live, Kendra? They can't be your whole world. They cannot be your whole world. They cannot be your purpose. They cannot be everything to you. Because what does that leave you with? If your children are everything to you, what does that leave you with? Let's really unpack this whole thing, this whole idea that our kids are supposed to be everything to us. They're supposed to be our purpose. And the reason I actually hate, I don't want to say hate, oh, that's a strong word. No, I mean it. The reason I dislike when people say your children are your whole purpose, because I genuinely feel like it comes from this idea that people, women specifically, who don't have children don't have purpose. Why would you? No. I hate that my friends without kids are made to feel like because they don't have kids, they don't have purpose. I know you guys may not think it's not, maybe, I don't know, it's not like the same thing. But when you really think about it, why are we selling women this idea that motherhood is supposed to be everything to them? That their children are supposed to be their entire purpose? It is so damaging, not only to you, but to your kids. Because guess what? That is a lot of pressure to put on a little human that just got here. He can't even wipe his own behind yet. And he's supposed to be your purpose? Hello. Let's calm down. Let's relax a little. He can't be your whole purpose. He don't even know who he is. Give them a break. Let's give your kids a break. It makes no sense to make your kids your whole purpose. And you're going to fight me on this. Like I said, I can't fight, but I do like to dial a number and call a lawyer. So don't fight me, okay? Because I will sue anybody. Anytime, okay? Don't play with me. I'm not even kidding. The truth is, and I want to say this with every single sincerity, okay? I want to say this with all that love I can master. And I'm talking to you. Your children are not your purpose. They cannot be your purpose because there's so much more to you than just being a mom. There is so much more to you than just being a dad. And I'm not saying your children can't be some of the most important people in your life. Hello. I love my little humans. They bring me so much joy. But they're not my purpose. I have sat with this for a very long time to figure out what is my purpose, right? If my kids are not my purpose, what is my purpose? And then I remember, before I became Shanse the mom, I was Shanse the student. I was Shanse the pageant girly. I was Shanse fighting for the lives of women in Congo. I was Shansei coming and being dropped into this world to not only live for myself, but to live for those who are going to come after me. I do have a purpose. And my purpose in this world is not just to be an incredible mother, which I am, but it's also to fight for those who can't fight for themselves sometimes. If you guys know me, then you know my passion for Congo goes deep. Then you know my passion for the women struggling in Congo go deep. What you may not know is this is not a new passion. I've always had the same platform when I was doing pageant in to help the women in my country who can help themselves. I cannot wait to dive more deep into all the things that give me purpose and all the things that make Shansei Shansei. But for now, I want to end the hot take by saying, when you maintain your purpose in life outside of parenting, you're giving your kids the greatest gift of all, money. I'm just kidding. But hey, listen, all dude in the research did say they make more money, so we're going to stick with that. But no, on the real, you are literally giving your children something you cannot give them outside of you. You're giving them you, and there has to be a you for them to have. So don't forget to email us your hot takes. I'm really excited to hear all of them. So here's what I want you to remember today. Being selfish is not about neglecting your children. It's about prioritizing yourself. It's about modeling self-respect. It's about putting you in the mix, not always doing things outside of you. You need to maintain your identity, invest in your support system, and most importantly, invest on systems that work to help your house move around. Whether that's hiring a nanny, hiring a cleaner, whatever your family needs, you need to take the time to invest in it. You guys know your homework. It's very simple. Pick one out of the 6 challenges I gave you and let me know which one helped you the most this week for your family. And when that quote unquote mom guilt starts to creep in, just remember that 10% happiness increase for you is a $62,000 a year income increase for your babies. Because how can I feel guilty about making money or making sure my kids make more money? Mom guilt gone. Poof, you're welcome. Again, I am so excited to be starting this podcast. Make sure you guys connect with me in all the platforms at Selfish Parenting. And of course, follow me on all the socials at Hindere Lane. I love you guys, and I will see you next week.